Hello, everyone. I'm pretty sure you guys all just heard our amazing channel mascot monster shaking there as the intro was playing. But how is everyone doing on this gorgeous evening, daytime, afternoon? Early in the morning, depending on what time zone you're in. I am so glad to see you all here. I have had my share of candy, so warning to all, my brain might move a little bit quicker than my mouth. I may go a little bit left. I may get a little bit messy this evening because I have a serious problem with people who are liars, and not only liars but also thieves, but also just a pair of wretched parasitic frauds who stole a woman's name, and not just any woman, an amazing queen that left an incredible legacy of 70 years on the throne and accomplished many things that we will never see in anyone in our lifetime accomplish. Let's be completely clear. How many presidents, or like the queen met, let me pull up for a second here because I didn't think I was going to mention this, but as you guys are coming in, and I'm just getting right into my rant because of the candy that I've had, make sure you say hello to the mods and throw them a big wave and a heart or something, and just say thank you for everything that they do, because they do keep a tight ship around here. Well, we love them for sure. We love them. So let me take a look here. I've met how many presidents? Let's see how many. So Queen Elizabeth basically met 13 out of the last 14 presidents. Lyndon Johnson was, for some odd reason, missed out. But not only that, she also met like a whole bunch of different dignitaries from other countries too. She has, and like Queen Elizabeth, no one will ever be able to, ever stand up to what she has accomplished. She has really, like, she has left behind a legacy that would be amazing. Like, could you imagine meeting all of the people that she has met through her lifetime and the stories she could tell you? I mean, I don't know. Does she ever get like a biography, like an actual? I have to look into that. I think Angela Kelly wrote a couple good biographies about her, and maybe I should take a look. But yeah, it was definitely a life of service when she dedicated and said in her announcement that she will give her all basically to a life of service. That's exactly what she did till the very end, till the very last day of her like dying breath. The queen took care of everything. She served her country. She took care of her people. She put her job as the queen first before anything. And you don't see that anymore. You don't see that kind of dedication to anything anymore. How many people could say that they have done what the queen has accomplished? Not many. It's absolutely crazy. Ah, Molly, what is in Megnut's hand? Is that a cucumber? Of course it's a cucumber. What else? Wouldn't be has, or it would be a lot smaller. That's for sure. Terrible. Okay, so As I was saying earlier, I have a problem with, Meghan Markle. As we all know, she is a vile, bottom feeding opportunist who does nothing but ride other people's coattails or use her. Well, now that she has the connections with the royal family, she's been using that like her life depends on it. She has been exposed throughout the years that we have unfortunately known her. She has been exposed for having zero originality. She's got an idiot cuckold of a husband who's also a moron, standing there like a drooling, complicit fool, enabling her theft. And it is just as disgusting and deplorable. I find it so gross that I am more upset with Harry. And what am I talking about? I am talking about the name Lilibet. Okay. Why am I bringing this up? Let me back up because maybe I shouldn't have eaten so much candy before I came on here. But we all remember when Harry and Meghan announced through their Sussex.com website when the surrogate gave birth to a child that we're supposed to believe is Lilibet, that who knows if they even exist. Personally, myself, I don't think that there is an Invisibet. I refuse to call her Lilibet. I refuse to refer to that invisible, unknown child as Princess Lilibet. I only know of one Lilibet, and that is the Queen. That is this lady right here. That is the only Lilibet that I know. And personally speaking, I could never use the name Lilibet because that was her personal nickname that she had, that her family had. For those who don't know, I wanted to look it up, and it said that when Queen Elizabeth was a child, she would call herself Lilibet when she was a toddler because she had difficulty pronouncing her name. And now, when you look up everything with the Queen now, because Harry and Meghan are complete, vile, disgusting, decrepit cretins of the lowest form, now anywhere you see anything about the Queen is going to be connected Meghan Markle's crap about her great granddaughter, Princess Lilibet of Sussex, was named in her honor. Yeah, honor BS completely. It was complete BS. It was completely done out of spite. 100% it was done out of spite. Katie, thank you for the candy fund and monster box. The last thing I need is more candy, but let me tell you a little secret now. I am definitely doing a candy run tomorrow. That's for sure. Private notes, my dear. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. But here's the thing. This is what Meghan and Harry did because this is who Meghan Markle has been her entire life. She has been someone who will always leech onto someone's coattails. She is someone who will always, she's an opportunist. She clings on to someone else like a leech and pretends like their accomplishments are her own. Or maybe she's going to pretend that this Invisibet individual is on the same level as the Queen just because they stole her name. Now, do you guys remember that when that was announced on Harry and Meghan's Sussex.com website? Let me show you here. Sunday, June 6, 2021. Statement from the press secretary for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And this is ridiculous because they were pretending like they had their own press office. They copied the exact way that the royal family would put out their press notification. Who are these two nerds to embargo their message? Like, get out of here. But that's what they did. So their message, let me read it to you, said, "It is with great joy that Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, welcome their daughter, Lilibet Lily Diana Mountbatten Windsor, to the world. Lily was born on Friday, June 4th at 11:40 a.m. in the trusted care of the doctors and staff at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital in Santa Barbara, California. She weighed 7 pounds 11 ounces. Both mother and child are healthy and well and settling in at home. Lily is named after her great grandmother, Her Majesty the Queen, whose family nickname is Lilibet. Her middle name, Diana, was chosen to honor her beloved late grandmother, the Princess of Wales. This is the second child for the couple, who also have a 2-year-old son named Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor. The Duke and Duchess thank you for your warm wishes and prayers as they enjoy this special time as a family. And pardon me, my darlings, I need to grab my barf bucket for a second because that was absolutely ridiculous. Just say that the surrogate popped or the stork dropped off the baby and that's it. But let me tell you this. So remember when all of that came out, right? Buckingham Palace had issued a note saying that what had happened, that the queen wasn't notified that that they were taking the name. The queen wasn't asked her permission to be using the name. Apparently the story went that Harry claimed that they asked her if they could name her after the queen. And my assumption is that maybe the queen thought, oh, they're going to use the name Elizabeth like they had as well before. I'm going to sleep listening to this. Am I putting you to sleep? Aw, well, I'm glad I could help you sleep. That makes me happy. But yeah, the story was that they went to her and claimed that, oh, we would like to name our child after you. And the queen probably thought that, oh, you will be like using the name Elizabeth. That's just what I remember what the stories were from back then. What had happened later, now, if you guys remember, Harry had pulled a quick one over the queen's eyes before. You guys remember with what was it? That sit down that he did with Oprah, the Me You Can't See? Harry went to the queen, and I've reported on this before. Harry went to the queen and told her that it was going to be basically an interview about military and veterans and how they are affected after war. And instead, it was all about Prince Harry and his genetic pain and how the Queen's parenting must have been bad. And that caused Charles to have some kind of, hatred towards the Queen. And then he passed that genetic pain down to him and blah, blah, blah. All of that nonsense, remember? And it even went as far as Harry and Meghan having the audacity. Okay, let me show you this. Harry even had the audacity, knowing that they were lying to the press, that Harry hit back at reports that he didn't ask the Queen for permission to name daughter Lilibet. The fuming royal has threatened legal action over claims that he did not speak to his grandmother about naming his baby after her. Now, this was when Harry threatened legal action against the BBC. Yeah, the very same BBC that sat down with him and gave him and where he ranted off for 30 minutes. But yeah, he threatened legal action against them over claims that he didn't ask the Queen. Now, Harry and Meghan had released a very sensational statement after Buckingham Palace had released from a source, or a royal source had said that they never asked Her Majesty about using her childhood nickname. And then within 90 minutes of that report being put out, Harry hit back with the claims and he said that his grandmother was, and I find it so disrespectful because Harry never, ever before Meghan would call or refer to Her Majesty as his grandmother in public. It was always the Queen or Her Majesty. It wasn't his grandmother until Meghan came around, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, Harry's grandmother. So now he started calling her grandmother too, just because to make her feel like she wasn't as special or important. I don't know. They wanted to diminish her status. They didn't want her to feel like, yes, they respected her. And then on top of that, Paradise Streaming, you can't hear me? Maybe try going out of YouTube and then coming back in. Sometimes that helps. So what had happened after that? Okay, because this is history, right? This is what happened. I know Harry and Meghan love rewriting history. They love thinking that we are all idiots. Meghan thinks that we are all as dumb as her husband and that we all forget. Who knows? But the Duke claimed that he spoke with family in advance of the announcement. In fact, his grandmother was the first family member he called, a spokesperson for the Sussexes said. Okay, that was their claim. They made a big stink about it too, claiming that no, they knew. We are the victims here. They're making us out to be bad. Like we already told the Queen. We already asked her permission. And then you get this on the final episode of Meghan Markle's crap podcast on Lemonada. We get, where is this? I have it from Princess Carparkle. And shout out to Princess Carparkle. Credit to you for throwing this up on your Twitter page because I couldn't listen to that nonsense. So credit to you, darling, for sharing this with us. I appreciate you. And it only takes 2 seconds to credit someone for sharing something. And they always love the shout out and it never hurts. That's for sure. Let me just say that. But listen to this, guys, because when I heard this, I was like, this raggedy bitch. Okay, this raggedy bitch. I cannot believe. Okay, let me just show you. Just listen up. Okay, listen to this.
It's no different, and I will say this to every woman in the world, every person in the world who's going to have a child. If you have an idea of what you're going to name that baby, you keep it so close to your heart until that baby is born and it's named. Don't ask anyone's opinion. It's no different.
Don't ask anyone's opinion. Look, even when Her Majesty is deceased, already dead, Meghan is still throwing cheap shots at someone who has passed away. How foul is that? Listen to that again. Let me just play that once more, and then I will go in on this lying leech bag, okay? Hold on.
It's no different, and I will say this to every woman in the world, every person in the world who's going to have a child. If you have an idea of what you're going to name that baby, you keep it so close to your heart until that baby is born and it's named. Don't ask anyone's opinion.
Does this not right here prove that Harry and Meghan never asked the Queen for her opinion? Does that not just like this woman, this raggedy 2-cell brain trollop really thinks that going onto a podcast and throwing these jabs out and responding back to everything, like this is one thing that royals would do, was that when they were naming their child, they would have to go and ask permission for the Queen. The Queen would know what the child's name was before anyone else. Catherine had to do it. Everyone did it, but not Meghan. She was such a spiteful bitch. She always had to get back at the Queen. Micheline, I can't talk because of the candy, so my apologies, says she is so spiteful getting back at the late Queen for not getting her way. What else does she want? What else does she want? Meghan Markle got fast-tracked by the Queen for for everything. Meghan doesn't realize, like, you got a lot of privileges that many royal girlfriends did not get, even when they became royal wives. And still, it wasn't good enough for her. Let me show you guys something, because this will absolutely blow your mind here. While we're talking about Meghan and always making everything about me, her. Now, there was a video that I showed you guys a while back where Meghan cuts off the queen during an engagement, right? While they're out. And I always said, oh, Meghan did this for a reason, because she wanted to be on the side closest to the cameras. And while squatties were like, oh, you're just making shit up. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, lucky me, I just happened to find some footage, but let me show you here. Remember this? So the queen is walking ahead, and let me just play it for you guys. This literally, like, you stupid trollop. I can't. Like, I can't. Like, she's just like, the queen is already getting into the car and she's making a stink about, like, oh, are you sure? Do you want to go first? Like, she had to get in there first. And I'll show you exactly why she had to get in there first. Okay, so why did the pushy trollop have to get in first? Why? Because look, the pushy trollop thought that the people were there to see her and had to be on the side closest to the cameras so they can get photos of her instead of, Her Majesty, which is who, though, the individuals there would want to be seeing. Should have let Meg walk home. Honestly, I would have just pushed her out of the car, blocked down the road so that no one would see it. But yeah, I mean, she thought that she was the main character. And the thing is, for someone who's never been the main character before, who's never had a main character position, she honestly thought that she could go into the royal family and change everything. And, well, look at her now. She's been an absolute failure. A perpetual failure, a constant failure. Meghan Markle has not accomplished anything since she has left the family. And all she's been doing is basically stealing people's ideas, stealing people's names, and constantly showing the world how much of a spiteful, jealous harlot she truly is. She is a disgraceful blight on society, we could say. Meghan basically slithers around like a snake, assumes other people's identities, and then starts to act like a vile bottom feeding opportunist and then leeches off them until she gets what she needs. And then she sheds her skin like a snake and then goes on to the next prey or next person that she wants to climb up on. Meghan Markle is literally only being allowed these connections because of her dim-witted husband. He stands there like the cuck that he is, allowing her to do whatever she wants, and he doesn't even say anything. Nothing at all. Harry and Meghan have shown themselves that they will lie about anything to get their way. They will lie, cheat, and steal to get anything their way, to get whatever they want their way. They don't care what they do as long as they get their way. And at the end of the day, there is something very scary and very, very frightening about, a couple of individuals who really have no, like, I'm trying to figure out the words here. They really don't feel any guilt for what they're doing. Harry and Meghan are not only thieves, and not only do they steal people's ideas and steal people's monies and steal like taxpayer money and think um that they deserve it for no reason, but not only that, they went as far as harassing the queen. They went as far as basically making her final years as miserable as they could. And Meghan claims that she likes to, uplift women, that she likes to, she's a global leader for women. She wants to be the type of woman that will give other women a lot of guidance and protect. What kind of guidance? You are not someone that can give any kind of advice to anyone because you haven't succeeded at things. And this is the issue with Meghan. Meghan thinks that just because she sold one round of like maybe 10 jars of shitty jam and hasn't built up anything since that, hasn't restocked anything since that. She thinks that she is a founder and Fortune 500 CEO. She literally thinks she is on the same level because a whole bunch of other people did the work for her, but she, in her mind, thinks that she's at the top. It's like the whole podcast thing when she was claiming that she works so hard. Oh my God, I work so hard. I work so hard. No, it's other people who are doing the work. Hope floats. I ask myself this every single day because I know, like, I don't want to say this because the queen has passed away now. And I always think it's horrible to speak on those who have already passed. But why wouldn't she put her foot down from the very beginning? I don't get it. Why? Like, it's hard for me to believe that Harry and Meghan went to the Queen and were like, if we don't get our way, and Meghan claimed that she was pregnant to get married faster than Eugenie, even though her wedding was already set and ready to go. I mean, I'm supposed to believe that you blackmailed the queen with all this talk of like racism or whatever? Or what were you going to come out and do? What was Meghan going to come out and say? Guess what? I banged Prince Andrew before I banged Prince Harry. I don't get it. I don't understand. She was blackmailing Andrew, who was her favorite. Is that what happened? This is like, I will never understand because you hear all the stories about how the queen had to talk to Meghan about her bullying the florist or the chefs that were in the kitchen or the gardener that was down by Frogmore. And you heard about all these and you're like, if there were all these red flags, why would they allow Meghan Markle to marry into this family when they saw how much of a troublemaker she was? And then not only did they see how much of a troublemaker she was, but they also kept giving into all of her demands. The queen gave her, I mean, the queen and King Prince Charles at the time gave her the huge wedding. They okayed that. The queen named her the co-vice president of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. Meghan goes around calling herself a senior royal. You weren't a senior royal. You were married to a senior royal. And all of this was given to her. And how did they repay the queen? By stealing her name and lying about it too. They made an entire stink about it that no, we asked, and they even threatened to sue people unless if they didn't redact their statements. And now Meghan's on Lemonada, whining like an idiot, laughing like a hyena. You know who she reminds me of? In The Lion King, you had like the three disgusting hyenas. There was like the idiot, there was the other one, and then the other one. She reminds me of the hyenas because she's one of those people that doesn't care as long as she gets her way. And that's what I feel like. I mean, is this not a confession that they did not ask her permission, regardless that when the queen, this was a mess. This was in the queen's final years. They stole her name. And the queen had said, apparently, there's a quote that always like it completely tugs at my heartstrings. It makes me so sad when I read this quote. But basically, Queen Elizabeth reportedly told royal aides over the Lilibet naming that I don't own the palaces, I don't own the paintings. The only thing I own is my name, and now they've taken that. Imagine being in the final years of your, like, you should be reflecting back on the time and the life you've had. And instead, the queen was dealing with these two fucking numbskulls. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then on top of that, like, it was reported that the queen was so angry that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had named their daughter Lilibet, the late queen's pet name used by those closest to her, that she told the aides that I don't own the palaces, I don't own the paintings, the only thing I own is my name. And now they've taken that. And that was in Robert Hardman's book, which he wrote, called Charles III, New King, New Court, The Inside Story. But then it was published as The Making of the King in the US. So yeah, apparently the Lilibet naming infuriated the late monarch so much that one source described her as angry as I'd ever seen her as a result. Could you imagine doing that in her final years? Just like torturing the queen and just pissing her off to the max. It's like they wanted her to, like, it's like, okay, old lady, we know you're old. You're supposed to croak now so we can get what we want out of your will. That's what I think it is. Think Beautiful says, why do you think she decided to mention this in a podcast? Is it meant to be a flex? What's the point? I think that's just how Meghan Markle is. She's a spiteful bitch who likes to get back at people. And I feel like for her, this is like a, haha, I'm better than you kind of thing. Like, I didn't have to follow protocol. I didn't have to do the way that, like, the other royal ladies did. I don't know. It's very childish. And for someone who wants to always, like, rehabilitate their image, you would think she wouldn't say things like this at all. Private Notes, thank you again for the super sticker, my darling. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Yathome says, Koo Stark was considered unsuitable to date a prince because of the soft prawn movies that she did. Looking back, she was well suited to Andrew. Yeah, I mean, the royal family has a lot of skeletons in their closet. I'm sure that King Charles has a lot of dalliances and undercover, like, things that he's done too. But this is horrible. Like, thinking that this is some sort of flex, that I kept it to myself, I didn't tell anyone. You're just showing the entire world how much of a spiteful, lying, leeching fraud you are. It's just showing the world how hollow Meghan is and how pathetic she is, and how she will go as far as to spite an elderly individual who is near the end of their life over stupid things. So that should tell you the type of person she is. She is a shameless fraud who swiped a nickname that didn't belong to her. And now she deserves every ounce of scorn that is coming her way. Let me tell you that, because this is like Meghan is hiding behind someone else's identity. She's using, and in my opinion, it's like identity theft. It's like she's stealing the queen's identity and legacy, and she wants to try and squeeze whatever opportunity she can out of that to her financial benefit, in my opinion. Like, honestly, every time I see the name Lilibet, it makes me kind of sick to my stomach, if I'm honest here. And it's very, like, it just shows and highlights that Meghan has zero integrity. It highlights that Meghan Markle is an inadequate individual who can't even come up with a name. She can't even be original enough to come up with, oh, hello, monster, to come up with, like, a name for a phantom child. It is a dig. It's a total dig. It completely is. It's a complete. Molly's little one hears the voice of an. Oh, Marissa, you're very sweet. You're very sweet. But yeah, it's a complete dig, and I find it so disgusting. Kids irrelevant. Thank you for the super sticker. Look, monster. We're gonna go get you some new toys tomorrow, and what I'll do is that I'll buy the little one some new Hot Wheels also while I'm at it. Thank you, you guys. That's very sweet of you all. But I feel like Meghan just every time she opens her mouth, she just shows how much of a despicable human being she is. I know she always wants to pretend like she is a nice, compassionate individual who leaves notes for strangers. If you need to leave notes for strangers instead of like connecting with your family, then you must really be a POS individual. And I feel like Meghan just needs to stop this charade. Like, I feel like the more she tries to get into the spotlight, the more she's going to expose herself because her conscience is starting to leak out, basically. You can see how she is. Basically, she's telling on herself. She's snitching on herself. Meghan has done so much bad in her life that I think karma is coming around. And maybe the queen is looking down on her. She's like, now it's my turn to have some fun here for making me so miserable. Don't you guys just love this photo of the queen? Oh, I feel like ever since her majesty passed away, I feel like she was the thread who was keeping this entire world together, basically. And then once her majesty passed away, it was like everything, all hell broke loose. Honestly, it feels like all hell suddenly broke loose. I'm just waiting for the zombies to come at some point. Who knows? But truly, at the end of the day, every time Meghan opens her mouth, it's a confession that comes out. Susan says every time she opens her mouth, she swallows. Sorry, I had to go there. It's all good, my darling. You know we love that kind of filthy humor, and it's true. You're doing nothing but being honest. And she does. That's all she does. Swallow bananas. Right down the esophagus it goes. It's all gone awry for sure. Definitely. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, but yeah, anyways, my darlings, let's just see. We went left. We always go left eventually, right? What are you doing, monster? Hmm? Come here. Come here, you little gremlin. Monster's been he's been kind of upset with me today because he got his hair cut today, and I asked the groomer to cut it very, very short, and yeah, he doesn't like it when it's gone short, so he's kind of been sitting with his back towards me, and it's absolutely funny. Yeah, you're not too happy about it, are you? No, not excited. Should we go to bed? Oh, you don't want to go to bed? Do you want to go party? No? Okay, that too. Anyways, my darling, so what do you guys think? Because I feel like, Meghan, I don't mind you talking because every time you open that big ass orifice that you call a mouth, I feel like you're always confessing to something. And the more that Meghan, the more that she lies and opens her mouth and spews out what we know she lied about, well, then it just shows us that, yeah, Meghan Markle is a perpetual liar, a constant perpetual liar. Let's be completely factual here. Anyways, guys, but let me play this clip one last time because look, remember, Meghan and Harry lied and claimed that the Queen was the first family member he called to let them know that he was using their name. And let me remind you that he was quoted saying that during that conversation, he shared their hope of naming their daughter Lilibet in her honor. And they said that had she not been supportive, they would not have used the names. Harry and Meghan have threatened the BBC with legal action if they don't retract their statement. Right. So remember that? They made a big fuss and stink about it, right? They made a big fuss and stink. And here we go. What did Meghan say again? Because Meghan does always put her big old gangly gnarly foot in her mouth. And let's hear what she said.
It's no different, and I will say this to every woman in the world, every person in the world who's going to have a child. If you have an idea of what you're going to name that baby, you keep it so close to your heart until that baby is born and it's named. Don't ask anyone's opinion.
It's funny because remember, Meghan actually bought the domain names to Princess Lilibet when she was allegedly supposed to be in labor. And yeah, I don't know about you, but I definitely, the last thing I'd be thinking about if I was in labor is buying up domain names. And that should tell you something, right? Anyways, my darlings, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go and check up on my little one and, clean up all these Hot Wheels that are all over the place in the living room before I fall and break a leg or something. Yeah, absolutely disgusting. Look, every time Meghan Markle opens her mouth, she confesses to their lies, right? She confesses to a lie that she has told or Harry has told before. And look, we've got proof. I showed you articles that they were trying to sue people, they were threatening legal action. And here is Meghan in her own words confessing that they never asked the Queen for her permission. It was all a lie. All a lie. Complete lie. Just like everything they do. Monsters Toy Fun. Aw, thank you. Look, tomorrow I'll go out and I'll buy some new toys for Monster and I'll buy some new Hot Wheels for the little one because, yeah, he needs more. Like, I need some more. I don't know. Anyways, my darlings, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for stopping in, my loves. I appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you to my incredible mods. Love you guys so much. And my darlings, I appreciate you guys spending the time with me. I truly appreciate each and every one of you, even those of you who are watching this on the replay. Let me know what you guys think of Meghan confessing that, look, they never asked the Queen. She doesn't need to say those exact words that she never asked, that she didn't ask the Queen. We know what you were saying when you were saying that. You just went and stole the name. Of course, you clearly didn't went and tell the Queen about naming the first kid Archie, because who the hell would name a kid Archie? Anyways, my darlings, those are easily the worst names for royal kids. Could you imagine Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet? Clownery, absolute clownery. Anyways, my darlings, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, early morning, wherever you are. And thank you again for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think of Meghan's recent confession, and I will catch you all in the next one. Toodaloo, my darlings. Bye.